we have a few minutes left, so we would like to collect your questions. If you have an index card with questions, Rachel is going to come around and pick them up and read them to the panel. And we'll try to address some of those. And like Krista said earlier, any questions we don't get to tonight, we will get back with you with a mass email. We're going to write the question and we will give you an answer to your question in less than a week. Tonight. You'll get it tonight.
Our first question is for Dulce, or anyone else, but addressed to Dulce. For a child-sized table, if you have an only child, do you recommend that they sit alone to eat at the table versus eating at a table with mom and dad?
That's a very good question. We talked about this question in my Montessori training, and we talked about how maybe for breakfast, you can offer your child breakfast at the low table, and you can actually sit on the other side of the table to join them for breakfast. And you can pull up a stool, maybe an ottoman, something comfortable for you to sit on. And now for dinner, you might want to invite them to the dinner table, because that's usually the time where all of the family is getting together to eat. So that's my suggestion, but it's really your choice based on your schedule and what works best for you and your family.
Charlie?
Yes, I would like to add that as parents and teachers, we always need to remember that children will do as we do, not as we say. So if your child is going to learn how to use utensils, she or he is going to learn table etiquette, an adult needs to sit down and model that for the child. So that's why it's important to keep that balance of, yeah, maybe we'll eat snack at the table, just the two of us, but that toddler or that infant that can sit up straight now should be part of the dinner table with the rest of the family. Thank you.
Okay, our next question is for Megan. What strategies do you recommend for children who are afraid of loud sounds?
That's a good question. As an occupational therapist, I'm here that I would want to target, like, be a detective and who, what, when, and where is the sound coming from, so we can really specifically address the loud sound. However, just general recommendations for loud sound. Of course, there are use of headphones. There is research on the exposure therapy, so gradually acclimating the child to sound through building up to a point where a child can participate with others amongst the noise. I will say too, I think it's helpful to go to the purpose of when is the sound bothering and what purpose is it hindering, because a lot of things can be done in small groups or in quieter environments or with more one-on-one attention. However, I guess I would want to get a few more details from the person too, if they wouldn't mind sharing, be a little bit more of a detective on what's going on and really specify how we can support the child during that time when the sound is hindering the completion of the activity. But yeah, I hope that was helpful, because sound can help and hinder. Definitely music, can help a child feel calm and focused, but then also can be distracting. So,
This is for anybody in the group. What does it mean to ritualize routine, and how can we do that?
That is a point that I made. Well, now suppose what is ritualizing, first of all? And ritualizing, I think, is doing an action with a certain self-consciousness that you, the actor, are doing the action. So I can put something down on the table, but then I can put it down like that. And when I put it down like that, it gets everyone's attention. And you're in fact saying, in a way, that this thing that I have done is important. So now, let's say it's a bedtime routine that you have, and you're putting your child to bed. So you can just go ahead and do it. Say, come on, let's get to bed. So that's your routine. But then you can break it up into steps, and then you can say, well, let's dim the lights, first of all, before we enter, turn on the music, whatever it is. And then you have, in effect, ritualize that particular routine. You have elevated it in importance, and you have given it some sort of focus and attention. So that's what I mean by ritualized routine. But you can do this in all situations, and you can do it throughout the day. But, you can't do it all the time.
Krista, did you have something to add?
Oh, I thought that was wonderful.
I just have to jump in and say, I have my office above the after-school care program, and the very last half hour of the day, I hear this beautiful flute music coming, wafting up through the first floor. And I know that the children are starting to put their things away and get ready to leave for the day. But it's such a calm, peaceful moment that I only imagine that the children must feel like they're getting that ritualizing of the end of the day.
So it also prevents you from directly instructing children to do this. They go through a sensorial experience.
It's like signaling them.
Yeah.
I have another question along those same lines. What are some specific examples of ritualizing the environment for ages 3 to 6 in particular?
What about this one? Here's something. What is it like when you come home? When you walk through the door of your house? Does your child have a place to put the things that they are bringing in to the house? Do they have a place to put their jacket? Is it a place that they can reach? Are they able to independently put their jacket on a hook and take care of that item? Do they have one hook and 6 jackets, so they're always falling off? Thinking that through of the ways that you want for your child to enter the environment. Does your child have a lunchbox? Who's responsible for that lunchbox? Is it the child? It should be, because it's not your lunchbox, it's their lunchbox. What do they do when they get in? They are hopefully the one carrying it in. Do they take it to the kitchen and take out everything that's dirty and put things in the dishwasher? Or what are the steps? And this should be part of the routine. And it's ritualized when it's regular. So your child knows when they come into the house what their responsibilities are and how that environment has been crafted to help that child. And if your child is what Shareth was regarding as the purposeful mode, they can help you with that analyzing. They can help you decide, you know what, this would be a good place for the hood. This is where this is a place where my lunchbox would fit and that I can reach.
I was having the thought on both of those questions about, when I would tour prospective families for our school, some of them here tonight, we have observation windows into the 3 to 6 classrooms, and the number of parents that look and say, my child could never do that. And my response in that situation is, they can do it with the routines and procedures that are built into the Montessori early childhood environment. And so those first 6 or 8 weeks of the school year, every day reviewing, this is how we tuck in our chair. This is how we walk around the room carrying a tray. This is how we roll up a rug. We give lessons on how to roll up a rug over and over and over again. This is how the material goes on the shelf. And so it's really helpful to remember as parents that they aren't going to pick it up once, that you have to do it over and over and over again, and that we have to model it as the adults as well. And talk about interruption, I lost her. We talk about this at our school a lot right now. In the lower elementary, we're noticing children have not internalized those rules and procedures. So we are now teaching them in lower elementary, reminding them how to roll up a rug and reminding them how to walk in the classroom and how to tuck in their chair. Because of the pandemic and all the different adjustments that we made in order to keep children learning, they didn't get to internalize those procedures. So part of that ritualizing the routine is doing it over and over and over again, and you know they don't need it anymore when they don't need it anymore.
Also, the value of routines. I of ritualizing those routines is that you break down the steps needed to complete a task, and those steps are always the same. So every time you do that activity, it's gonna be in the same order, using the exact same movements. And what that does for the child is it gives them the opportunity to self-evaluate. So they don't need the adult anymore to tell them whether it's done right or not. They know, because they know what the steps are, and they know if they have followed them or not. So that is the value of ritualizing routines.
Do you have any examples for getting out the door in the morning? Just because we are on a time crunch, and so like our getting home from school is a lot more ritualized and there's a place for everything, but it's just there's lots of emotions in the morning and depending on sleep, and I've got 2 toddlers, and so it just can be very stressful getting out the door. It's like, what about your tips?
All of what's being said too can start in the beginning, but then it's also, I remember being introduced to Montessori when I already had a primary student. It's like, okay, now what, since I didn't do any of that? Because it's about habit. We are definitely creatures of habit, and it becomes hardwired into this. Just like chaos can become part of the routine. It's like, and this is the time when I go blah, 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 blah. If you're having a struggle with a particular routine or transition, analyze it yourself, break it down, and see where the obstacles are and how you can get them to collaborate a little bit more if you're starting new routines. And then when they're older too, they can collaborate. Well, where do you think your shoes can go? And especially when it comes to the toddler mind, if we're communicating what we want rather than what we don't want, you're gonna have greater success. There again, going back to correction, like, put your shoes away, I'm telling you what to do. Like, where do your shoes go? Guiding them with your words and allowing for a little bit extra time. So if it's, analyze it, pull it back. Are they getting enough sleep? Do you have enough time in the morning? Are they waiting for you to do it? Or are there certain steps that they can do with you as far as that goes? And then, is it a regulation issue? Do they need to calm down? Do we need to practice that before we're even getting into logic or routines? Do they need more visual cues or reminders? Sometimes I'll have like picture cards of like, and then you get your backpack, and then you get your water bottle, and then we're going to leave. So it's kind of seeing where that obstacle is for them and analyzing the challenge.
Yeah, because they're thinking like, I don't want to just pack their backpacks and put them in the car myself. It's like the night before, I would love for them to help. So I like the picture card idea.
And I was just going to add, find ways to create calm for yourself in the morning. So that means getting up 20 minutes earlier and having a cup of tea and reading, and so that when they get up and the energy starts, you can be calm because they're going to regulate to your energy. And then also introduce some of those things over a break or on a weekend when you don't have that time crunch facing you every morning, because everybody's going to feel that crunch, and that then makes an impact on how well they're going to internalize those.
That's
things.
100% in our household. My emotional state is the direct leader of, it just trickles down. So
Life,
if I'm like
period.
stressed, it's just, I'm pushing the dominoes over for chaos. It's just not.
That is so true. That is so true. And I really thank you so much, County. Thank you all. And thank you all for being here tonight. We're at the time where we want to respect everyone's time, and also the fact that you may have young children to get to know. And as the teachers and the administrators, we encourage you to get them to bed, but it's been great to have you. And we look forward to maybe more conversations, maybe not this year, but as Charo was mentioning, we will be in touch with you, and we'll provide our presentations as well as answers to the other questions.
And if you have additional questions that you didn't get to submit, you can put them right in here. I will have it right on the table here, so on your way out, feel free to just drop your question in. We'll answer it by email.
And one of us will make our way down to the gate so we can let you out.